Hey everybody, this is your Professor David Britt. Just wanted to welcome you to MSOM 600, Graduate Writing and Research. This video, in sort of a follow my mouse format, is designed to help you get started in the course and provide a good overview, not only of what to expect in this class, but also how to navigate the Blackboard system as you get started in this degree program. So let's go ahead and get started here. When you log into the course, you're going to see a content button here, and you're going to see several different items here. All the courses in this degree program are 7 weeks in length, and they are all designed similarly. That doesn't mean obviously they have the same content, but they are similar in design. And so the first thing I really want you to do is to go up here and hit Start Here. And in the Start Here section, you'll have this in all of your courses. There'll be a lot of resources up here that you can use as far as Blackboard help. So if you have any questions about Blackboard, that would be a good place to start. If you're having tech issues, this would be a good button to hit. If you have any questions about the overall degree, you can find those there in the student handbook. This is a really important one, the CSU Writing Center. You are given the opportunity as you are writing to either visit on campus or to set up an online appointment with people who can help you understand and formulate your writing better. So I always like to encourage new students to make sure that they are aware that that exists. Down here, the CSU Library. This is going to be a place where you spend a lot of time in this course. It is a digital library that has multiple databases in it. And so when you begin to start researching for your papers, this is the place you go. You don't go to a Google search. You come right here to the CSU online library. Okay? And so this Start Here section is a really good place to start. Course information. Let's go ahead and click on that. You click on Welcome and Meet Your Instructor. Here's some information up here about me, how to get in touch with me. There's a picture of my wife and I. And then there's a video down here. And what I do is I introduce and give you part of my background. I am not from higher education, even though I've been working now in higher education for many years. You'll get some of my background from corporate America and from a few other places. So that'll give you a good indication of who I am, where I've been, okay? The textbook and materials, here's a list of the textbooks that we will be using in this course. Those you should have, this one I think comes digitally. This one is either going to be digital or it's going to be just mailed to you from our bookstore called Slingshot. Make sure, now hear me on this, make sure that you have that material because it's going to be very important as we get started. Here is the bookstore information. If you have any problems in getting that, make sure that you contact the bookstore. Also, if you do not have Microsoft Office, as a student here, you get a free copy of that. I think it's Microsoft 365, and there's a PDF there that shows you how to get all that information. I would encourage you to bookmark tech support because sometimes if you can't get into Blackboard, then you need to have this information outside of Blackboard, okay? Course description and objectives. You'll have this that talks about the entire course. You'll have a list there of 9 objectives that I'm trying to get across over the next 7 weeks. Here is an important component. It's the syllabus. You're going to need to read this. You're going to need to keep it handy as well. I would encourage you to download this and keep it for the life of the course. It'll also help you potentially in a quiz coming up that you have in week 1, okay? So MSOM 600 syllabus is in there. It has the grading scale and other things. Course map, don't pay any attention to that. We just have that in the course for accreditation purposes, okay? So now you're going to see the 7 weeks that are in the course. These are all going to look similar. You're going to have a week 1 overview where it's going to talk about what we're going to be doing in the very first week. You'll have the same in the subsequent weeks as well. Here under Read and Study, when you click on this, you're going to see what you're supposed to read, where you're going to read it. There will be PowerPoint lectures here. So if we look here in week 1, you'll see you have to read chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 from the Read Guide for college writers. And then you'll see there'll be 3 PowerPoints. There'll be a PowerPoint for each individual chapter there. And those are really good because they highlight the key components. This is provided by the textbook publisher. So that's an important thing too. And then down here for the APA publication manual, I'm asking you in week 1 to read chapter 2. So make sure each week that under Read and Study, you look at this textbook readings, lectures. It also includes videos as well. And then underneath that, you're going to have additional materials that you need to make sure that you look at. This week, there'll be a video lecture that goes over APA formatting. And this is provided by an outside source. I think it's the Writing Center at the University of Louisville. I found this several years ago, and it's better than anything I could have put together. So make sure that you go through it. It will highlight for you what a research paper should look like. Now, one key I'm going to have you look at here, in APA 7th edition, APA gave students a break here, so that a student version of an APA paper is different than one that is submitted for publication, and you get a few breaks there. So in this video, it talks about student editions, and it talks about published editions. Always follow the information based upon a student edition. So keep this video at the ready, because I have a feeling you may want to watch it 2 or 3 times as you go through the course. Okay? In this course, when we begin starting writing papers, or writing a paper, we're going to be using a process that I developed called the 6-stop paper writing process. I've always been a big fan of paper processes, or just processes in general, because if they're simple enough, that means they're repeatable. And if you find something that's repeatable, it's easy to get used to, and you can apply it in different settings. So make sure that you read that lecture. Down here, starting in week 4, you're going to be writing a cumulative paper. And we're going to be using this 6-stop paper writing process. And so what I've done for you is I've created a template. And this template is formatted to APA 7th edition. And we're going to be adding to it every week. So for example, here in week 4, we're going to develop the introduction to the paper that has a hook and that has a purpose statement. And we're going to use an adult student overview and then different motivations for why adult students go back to college, okay? And so make sure that you follow this to the letter, okay? Now, obviously, you get down when it says list a motivation. You don't write that in there. You list a motivation, the specific motivation. But use this format because the headings are formatted properly. It's all double-spaced. So make sure that you don't you don't stray from this template. It's a template for a reason. And so this template is going to guide how we write this paper in weeks 4 through 7. And then down here, research writing rules lecture. Make sure that you look at this. This will be some of the information that will be on the quiz in week 1. Okay, so each week you're going to have read and study. Make sure that you go through all of them. Textbook readings, watch the videos, and then some weeks you're going to want to go back to prior weeks because you will have seen something from that prior week. And then each week you're going to have something called Do This Week. The first week you have 3 things due. Every subsequent week you have 2 things due. And so this one has a discussion forum where I just want you to introduce yourself to your fellow classmates. So you're going to come in here and click on that. And this is a text box. You can just write your introduction in here. And then hit respond when you're done. And then don't miss this. You are to provide, and this is due by Thursday of each week. We only have a discussion forum in the very first week. Now in subsequent classes, you'll probably have one every week. So this gets you used to discussion forums, but the initial post is due by Thursday. And then you are to reply to 2 fellow students by Sunday night of that particular week, okay? If you have any questions on that, make sure you reach out to me. And then in this class, and you probably won't have this in many classes, but each week you're going to have a chat with the professor journal. And then, so I pose questions to you. The first week is pretty general in nature. Each subsequent week is about the prior week. So I want to make sure that you fully understand the comments that I made on your paper. You fully understand APA formatting. You fully understand things. So I ask you questions that I want to make sure you respond to me. This is the way I can stay connected with you each week. So each week you and I are going to have a conversation, okay? And you need to post your journal entry for that week by Thursday. And the same format that you use in the discussion forum is used here in the journal, where you'll just type in your response to my questions up here. So that's going to happen each and every week. Take those seriously, please, okay? So I want to make sure that you and I dialogue throughout this course, all right? The first week and only the first week, you're going to have a test. You'll come down here and click on that to get the test going. This is going to be, there'll be 12 questions here. You have 60 minutes to answer those, and those are going to be over pretty much the syllabus and some of the other things that I ask you to read here in week 1. So make sure that you complete read and study early in the week, because the test will be over that. So don't take the test first. Make sure that you've completed all the other information that is there, okay? So that is week 1. Week 2, again, it has the same type of setup. You have read and study down here. Week 2 is all about using the CSU online library. So everything you do in week 2 will be about finding applicable research. And this course and this degree program is all about research. Now, research writing and creative writing, you're probably used to creative writing from undergraduate and from high school. Creative writing uses those flowery words, those transitions, cute phrases. Your teacher probably asked you to use X thousands of words to do it. Well, research writing is not that. And this is the biggest struggle that I have with students. Research writing is very staccato. It's about making statements and supporting those statements with quality sources that you'll find here at the CSU online library. The writings you've had in the past may have focused on your opinion. Research writing doesn't care about your opinion. Your opinion only matters if it's supported by research. If you have an opinion and you give it and you do not support it with research, I'm going to say fact or opinion. And that's what you're going to have to prove to me, that it's just not something that you pull out of the sky. Research writing is not a blog post. It is not a Facebook post. It's not any type of social media. It's about going out, again, making statements and supporting them with quality sources that you're going to find here at the CSU online library. So here in week 2, it's all about research. It's about the CSU online library, how to use it. The CSU online library will be your only source for research data. I do not want you, hear me on this, I do not want you to use Google. Google is a search engine. It's not a research engine. And so the quicker that you learn how to use the CSU online library, the better off you're going to do, not only in this course, but also in subsequent courses. So week 2, we spend all our time, and the do this week, if you come down here to do this week, you'll have a chat with me, and your short answer that you'll have will be about finding research. I am asking you here to find 10 different sources at the CSU online library, and I ask you to format them using this research document there, okay? So make sure that you focus on that there in week 2. There'll be more of that about that coming up. In week 3, this will be the hardest week of the course, okay? And this is going to be about APA formatting. So everything we do in week 3 is how to format citations and how to format references, okay? And so under read and study, you're going to have all kinds of information. I encourage you, make sure that you watch all these videos. Make sure that you look at the read and studies. Make sure that you read all the things that I have linked here. Because this, as I mentioned earlier, this is the hardest week of the course. Research writing requires proper formatting, giving your sources credit for their work because you're using it. And again, more resources are going to be provided this week than any other week. And so we're going to focus on APA that week. And my hope is that coming out of that week, you're going to have a firm understanding about APA. So we've already finished 3 weeks and we haven't started writing a single thing yet because, again, week 1 is talking about the format of a research paper. Week 2 is talking about how to use the CSU online library to find good research. Week 3 is about how to format that research when you begin writing the paper. And so therefore, in week 4 is when we begin to write the paper, okay? And again, you will find that paper that we are going to be writing. The format, the template will be back here in week 1, okay? So here in week 4, we're going to be focusing on stops 1 and 2 of the 6-stop model that you'll read about in week 1. Week 4, again, you use that 6-stop model. This is going to be a cumulative process. Now, what I mean by a cumulative process is you're going to write the introduction and the overview, and you're going to submit it using that template. I'm going to review your work. I'm going to make comments in the margins of the paper. I'm going to give you the things that I like, the things that I think you could do better, and you are going to correct those, okay? And then what you'll do in week 5, you'll submit down here, because in week 5 you're going to be working on stops 3 and 4, and you're going to submit the corrected part from the week before that you've worked on, and then the new part. And I'm going to grade those. I'm going to take a look at them. And then you're going to do week 6, and so on and so on. So make sure that when you get my comments each week, that you go back, you correct the things that I've highlighted, you enhance the things that I've highlighted, and then you add to that the new week. And then finally, when we get to week 7 is where we finish everything. And that will be the end of the paper writing process. And in the final week, the final paper that's submitted at the end of week 7 is 300 points or 30% of your total grade. So it behooves you to look at my comments that you'll see on your paper in the grade book. It behooves you to, in the journal chats each week, if there's something that you saw from the prior week that I asked you to do or that I thought your paper could have done better, if you don't understand that, that would be the time for you to reach out to me in that journal and say, hey, David, I don't understand this, but can you help me out with this? And help can be in anything from a telephone call, a Zoom call. I've had those, and as a matter of fact, I prefer those, where I can pull up your paper and you and I can chat directly by looking at your paper in those areas, okay? And so that is the way that the course is designed. Again, weeks 1, 2, and 3 are very foundational. Weeks 4 through 7 are actually writing the paper, all right? I am thrilled to have you in the class. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure that you reach out. Take care.